Welcome back to a late episode of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling. I should be see what's going on on our lovely island of Fawnhollow today. It's like stretch. You hear that like bone clicking? I gotta say, my wrist sometimes clicks quite a lot now compared to usual. Not compared to usual, compared to used to, and almost certainly that's because of overuse or whatever. So make sure to do your carpal tunnel stretches if you have carpal tunnel or have a risk of developing it. It's always a good idea. I don't know, I guess that's just sort of something that you become sort of more, what's the word? I don't want to say ambiently aware of, because that's not what I really meant, but acutely aware of, I suppose, as you get older, is sort of like the bones clicking and all that. But anyway, good evening everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, it's 11 PM on Thursday, April 27th, 2023. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun playing Honkai Star Rail. The conversations on that won't really continue forever. I'm probably not going to do an Animal Crossing video about it. Did I do one for Genshin Impact anyway when I started playing? I'm not actually sure. I might have. I genuinely don't know, but that's neither here nor there. Just play games if you have fun playing games, and it's not, as a general rule goes, if it's not hurting anybody, do what you want. Anyway, back to the bone clicking conversation. I don't know, because people seem to really like clicking their own bones, the joints I should say, not clicking their bones. Clicking their own bones makes it sound like you're breaking your bones, which is obviously not something you particularly want to do. But so I was just seeing I had some phone messages. I was like, do I need to reply to these? Do I not need to reply to these? But yeah, I mean, wasn't there like this old playground myth that like cracking your joints or your knuckles or whatever would give you arthritis when you're older? Which I don't really think that's how it works, to be honest. Like, wasn't there some scientist, some absolute mad scientist, absolutely committed to a cause or something, did something like click only the joints in one hand or something for like his entire 20 years or something, or his life or whatever, to prove that I guess it doesn't necessarily prove that the chances decreased, or like that it I guess it just proves that it causes arthritis, shall we say. Because that's generally, you can't really have a one-person sample size, I'd imagine. But I can't imagine the restraint you need to sort of have to not click all the joints in your knuckles, like even by accident. Like even when I just sort of like stretch my hands sometimes, it's nice to sort of like, and I don't even know what this position's called when you like intertwine your fingers and like push it outwards. Whatever, it's just a nice stretching pose. And that sort of I feel like naturally clicks your knuckles. Or if you do too many things with your arms or wrists, your wrist will just click sometimes. So if anything, I should just be playing like left-handed exact only. I think I've said this before, but I tend to try and do things like with my left hand, things which aren't like play games or draw. I try to do it with only my left hand to sort of like balance out the usage each of my hands get. Brushing your teeth, do that with your left hand. Eating meals and using a computer mouse. Actually, I generally do use my left hand now, and when I can, you get pretty good at it. Tortimer is not here. Why? Because he's not dead. He's probably living his best life, doing whatever. But it's also a bit late for him, I'd imagine, to stay out. So what can we do? Freshwater goby. That's actually a catchable one, but I can't be bothered. Hit rock, sell items. It's a bit of an annoying one. I guess I'll do the coconut, hit rock, sell items combination. And if we run the maths on that, is that enough to offset the 1,000 cost of going on a Nook Mile tour every day? I'm not really sure. Maybe it averages out if we do the 5 times ones as well, that come in every now and then. But yeah, click joints. I mean, certainly it's quite a good thing. I'd imagine that our joints don't click all the time, and I'd imagine that'd be quite annoying. You sort of just walk and you're just going. That's not really a good clicking noise. That's not a very easy sound to, I think, impersonate with your mouth. But yeah, again, I'm not exactly the most talented. I don't even know what I'd call it, like a cappella Foley artist. It's obviously not at all what you would call them, but sound effects are just rather difficult to make with your own voice box. You kind of need the actual effects themselves, right? And what's more, I suppose, to double up on the work that Foley artists tend to do is the fact that a lot of the times the sounds aren't actually what the sounds are. And you might be like, what do you mean by that? But things like horses walking, you don't actually just like record the noise of horses walking, because that's not like sort of the idea. People have an idea that horses go like a click 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 or whatever. And that's why people like use coconuts in theatre productions to do the mimicking of horse sounds. I don't know what we actually use as an actual Foley artist, but something along those lines. And you have to be very creative, I suppose, to make some very interesting noises, especially for fictional ones which don't exist, right? I guess we're going to talk about a Foley artist now instead of actually clicking joints, which is what I thought I was originally going to talk about. I mean, there's not really much to talk about clicking joints because, like, what do you say? You click your joints, that's it. How? I mean, I guess I'm a master at spinning out a yarn from a conversation for no apparent reason. What's the longest time you think you've gone without ever clicking one of your joints? Obviously, everyone probably does multiple hours every single day. I don't think, I don't think your bones, like, it sounds so stupid. Your bones don't, like, reset fast enough, to click your joints every single hour. And, well, maybe they do, I don't really know. I don't actually know what causes clicking like knuckles sound. I feel like I read it in a book once. It was something about trapped air bubbles, like popping. When you do that, how do the air bubbles form? I'm not really sure. And air bubbles and what? The only thing I can guess is the fluid which is there to sort of like cushion between the joints. Although I don't know if there's any in the knuckles now I think about it. Are there? I'm not really sure. It's not getting like lost in my own mind, to be honest, about whether they exist or not. But it's something like that, isn't it? It's something about air bubbles popping, but what those air bubbles are and where they are, I suppose, is a whole other biological question, which unfortunately I cannot answer for you. I gotta think about this. Wait, hold on a minute. For one, are my uploads okay for tomorrow? And two, when do I need to actually finish the next thumbnail up by? The one following on from Here Comes Nico. I think it's next week, right? No, it's next week. Okay. And I do have an episode being online uploaded tomorrow. Not for Here Comes Nico, of course, for Cosmic Express. A lot more to Cosmic Express than I might have than I initially imagined. I'm going to be honest, but that's for you to discover, I suppose, in that next episode. I forgot where I was going with this. Yeah, cracking your joints or whatever. Like, something in my mind is just like it's from bubbles building up, but I don't really know how like air pockets like these really like form in the first place. I guess that the way I'm describing it right now makes it sound like it's a sort of gradual build up of air like getting trapped between your joints or something like that. But that I guess would now mean that there is enough space, I suppose, for air bubbles to form, and the fact that I guess our joints are not airproof, which feels weird. Like I guess they could not be. I'm not a biologist. I'm going to be perfectly honest. I think that's evidently clear, but that feels a bit wrong, doesn't it? Like, you would have thought of the fact, we've got like skin, flesh, muscle, or whatever, blood vessels all surrounding these sort of joints in the first place. Like, they're pretty difficult to get like any air bubbles in the first place. But I guess maybe they're more intrinsic inside the body. It's just more like space being created and not created, but like things being squished and stuff, so air pockets form, and then you crack your knuckles, I assume. But like my wrist can make this noise quite consistently. I don't know if you can hear that. I can't hear it, so I guess it can't really make it that consistently. But it sometimes does that. If I sort of like twist it in the right way, it makes a bit of a mini clicky sound, which is obviously not great. So I'll do some stretches, I suppose, while we're sailing with Cap'n. I'm not really sure about how this entire thing works, to be honest. And why knuckles? Are knuckles the joints which move the most? Like, surely not. Like, surely your knee, well, provided you actually walk around and stuff. Well, actually, is that true? What is your most used joint in your body? That's a really good question. I don't know. Could it be knuckles? My instinct for things, the only thing which can really compete with knuckles would probably be one of your legs, like either your knee or your hip. It's got to be your hip. Like, I mean, your hip is literally like the ball and socket joint, right, in the first place, which is it was, I'm not gonna say designed that way. It's not like someone in their spore creator like creating humans. I mean, but like we evolved that way because we needed that sort of freedom of movement. I assume that's got to happen only because it moves so much in the first place, right? I'm sort of just making inferences from nothing, it's just called tactical guessing, and then if I say it with enough confidence, it'll be like, whoa, dear darling, you know so much about biology, and the real answer is I don't really. I remember like things vaguely from I learned from GCSE biology, certainly. I can tell you all about eutrophication. Is that what it's called? Apparently not enough to tell you its name, but that definitely still resides in my brain for some reason. I think it's called eutrophication or eutrophication or something like that. I don't remember. Basically, when a stagnant body of water or something gets flourishing with life, and then when life dies because the algae build-up restricts the amount of sunlight or something that goes underneath. Something like that. Maybe I can't remember as much as I thought I could, but yeah, my biology knowledge is rather limited. Is how I describe it. We need to hit rocks, and then we need to sell some things. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. But it's certainly clicking knuckles, right? Clicking your neck, that's another thing. So maybe, now I think about it, because I don't know your neck moves all that much compared to other joints in your body. I mean, also calling your neck a joint sounds a bit weird. I don't know why it wouldn't be, but it also feels weird, We also might need to customize the shovel at some point. I don't know how many rocks we've hit, but that's certainly something we need to be probably careful with. In fact, I might just do it anyway. Actually, no, we should sell things as and then do it, just in case we get a customization mission. But people click my neck. Honestly, I can't really click my neck. Let me try. Not really. But there's I have a friend. I was going to say had a friend, but it's not like he's no longer my friend. I just haven't spoken to him for a while. But he always used to click his neck by I don't know how to describe it except for pushing his chin upwards. It's like he's breaking his own neck, attempting to, and it just clicks. And he swears by it being very satisfying. Oh my god. Here we go. We got one anecdote that I can think of, but this same friend I remember, used to swear by the fact that you could click your nose, and it was one of the most satisfying feelings ever. So one day when he and another friend was at my house, he was like, "Can I click your nose?" And then the other friend was like, "Sure, whatever." And I don't really remember how the conversation went, but it was something along those lines. I think he tried to click his nose, and then his nose started bleeding or something. Or something happened along those lines. He didn't break his nose or anything like that, but I don't know. I think he caused the nosebleed, and that's not exactly the greatest thing you want to happen, I'd imagine, no matter whether that's your nose or someone else's nose. But there you go. His body just sort of clicked and snapped, crackled and popped, just like cereal, at every opportunity. Which I don't really know what that not entails, but what that says about your body necessarily, if it sort of cracks it or opportunities. We sort of have the association of creaking doors and whatnot, that it's not exactly the best thing in the world, right, for you biologically. It probably isn't a great sound. I can't imagine human beings have been evolved to be clickety clacks, those walking dog toys. I suppose when you push them along, we just go click 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 click. Or I guess they don't click, but pop. But still, generally, I would say, and you probably don't want your joints sort of popping in and out. Take this as someone who's dislocated their shoulder many times. It's generally better for that shoulder just to sort of stay in there rather than going pop. And maybe that's not a visual exactly, or the idea of a visual that you want to deal with, which I can only apologise for. Anyway, it's amazing that you can click your joints, but you don't end up breaking any bones or something like that. Ain't that kind of weird? Maybe it's not kind of weird. Yeah, I don't really know where else to go with clicking joints, to be honest. It's sort of just that's it, eh? Excuse me. I wonder what the least click joint is. At least maybe this is something we can Google. Most used joint in human body. Synovial joint. Is it the knee? A joint capsule such as a knee joint. Okay, no, that's a type of joint. Not how many joints. The TMG joint is the most used joint in the body. It has a knee. What's a TMG joint? Oh, it's a temple. It's a jaw. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Because it has to be it has to pivot every single time you talk, right? In the first place, that makes perfect sense. And actually, your jaw is something which can sort of click. Sometimes I can open my jaw large enough, and I can hear a clicking noise near my ears, near my temple sort of sound. It's not like a clicking noise. I guess it's more I don't know how to describe it, a crackly sort of noise, which is probably I think I tell myself it's normal, but it might not be normal. It might be whoa, that's dear darling, you gotta be careful. That's the first sign of a degrading mandible bone. I don't know. Which, in which case, and I suppose I have reason to be concerned, but I don't know. It doesn't feel like anything's particularly wrong. And it only really happens when you, like, really extend your jaw, like you're yawning, like a sort of thing. And, I don't know. I don't particularly know what it is. It's weird to think about, like, it's not something I really think about, but it's weird to think about the fact that the human body can actually make those sounds sort of naturally, just the weird sort of crackly sound. Like, the human body is mostly made up of, like, really solid things, like bones and whatnot, and really squishy things, you know, like muscle, right? And fat. The fact that there's anything which can make a sort of, like, crumbling sound is, I'm not going to say it's disconcerting, because, I mean, the human body's been operating for most of us pretty fine thus far. So it's sort of just like the way of life. But it is a bit weird to think about, isn't it? That it is sort of like naturally ingrained within us. You know, they say that human beings can look like nature's human jukeboxes. No one actually says that. I don't even know where I was going with this. I just sort of meant to imply that, you know, because human beings can sing, that is a natural instrument. But have no one ever heard of a jawbone as a natural instrument? You know, like what other sort of sounds can you make with literally just your human body? You know, you can obviously clap your hands, you can whistle, you can sing, you can make out like crackly noises. I don't really know what else. Sometimes if you rub your hair the right way, it can squeak depending on your hair. Well, not squeak, I suppose, but it can make like a tension noise. And yeah, actually, now I think about it, you can put a hair under tension until it snaps. You go, snap, crackle, pop. You can make pop sounds, like, well, you know. Some people can do that extraordinarily loud. Some people can make like a water droplet sort of sound, like just with their mouth, and it's incredibly realistic, which is weird. I don't know, grinding of teeth? Okay, what is least used joint? Teeth grinding can cause joint disorders. Apparently I used to grind my teeth a lot when I was younger, like in my sleep or something. I remember my dentist just being, I think it's because I had like those sort of braces or like with Invisalign dentures, is that what they're called? I don't really know. The things that you wear at night which are clear and go over your teeth to like hold them in place. Mine got like super worn down, and my orthodontist was just like, you know, you grind your teeth a lot, I think, when you're sleeping, or because I only wore them when I was sleeping. You perhaps should be a bit careful about that sort of thing. Anyway, it's probably because I was like super stressed out or something. I don't know. And I tend to keep myself at high level stress, but I don't know, maybe it makes me operate better, maybe it doesn't. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, the least movable type of joint is a synaphrosis, which allows for no movement or very little movement. No, not least movable. What is the least used joint? I don't really know. Why did I close that? I should at least look up what a synaphrosis joint is. A hip? What? That can't be right. Immovable. Oh, in our temple. What? How do we have an immovable joint? An unstoppable force? What happened to the meat? Fibrous, no movement. Cartilaginous, some movement. Synovial, full movement. I'm learning a lot of biological terms today. What the heck is a synaphrosis joint then? Like, it's just a bone. How can it be a joint if it's just oh, I guess it's a joint between two bones, right? And it looks like a skull's kind of made up of multiple things or something, is what I'm getting from these diagrams. Immovable joints provided for a strong union between articulating bones. Okay, so does joint just mean like the connection between any two bones? I've not really considered that, but it has to be between two bones, right? So then two things which are, it basically looks like a fuse is like a welded line, I suppose, between two parts of a skull or whatever. That's technically a joint, it's just an immovable joint. I never really thought about that before. Huh. You learn something new any day. Anyway, if you can click that joint, that's incredible. Anyway, I'm going to round this episode up here, so if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, description, shares, greatly appreciated. Twitter, Discord down below. Hope we see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.